So what's up everyone, it's Sion here and welcome to my channel. So the video today is going to show you how I make loops in GrooveBox and how you can effectively use those loops in other projects. So a lot of my style of producing involves me creating small sections of ideas that inspire me, because realistically there isn't enough time for me to sit down on a desk and craft out a full song. But what I do is I craft out ideas in bits and pieces. So unless I have a particular song in mind that I definitely want to make, most times it's just creating just small sections, small recordings that the next week or the next month, or even I'm guessing even a few years from now, and I just press a random button, I'm building off of that experience, off of that wealth of knowledge I've kept from my experiences. That surprise, that flashback that brings you back. I mean, we have stuff like nostalgia coming in and out all the time. I feel it's because of people bringing in inspiration, and as musicians, our wealth of a catalog is pretty much all the works we did, both good and bad. And that's why I really like making loops, because loops doesn't add much pressure in you in making something good. It's all about just making an idea that inspires you today. And that's it. We won't worry about tomorrow. We won't worry about the next 10 years. We won't worry about anything. It's just make an idea right now that speaks to you. And you can always find ways to use that idea in unexpected ways. In this case, we're going to focus on GrooveBox. I'm going to make a brand new session. Right now I've got GrooveBox here. So let's just say, for example, I tap on drums. It always auto-generates ideas, but it gives me some sort of foundation. If I don't have any idea, or if I'm not in the mood to program any drums, I can just tap on GrooveBox and hit the drum box, and I can build off of the idea. Now, there's many tutorials about programming drums, and there's an excellent video I'm going to link in the description that showed me quite a few concepts here on making drums. But the fundamental of a drum is just to keep the groove of the song. What kind of emotion are you trying to do? So first things first, before I even start selecting the instrument, I look at the tempo and I think of the type of beat I'm trying to make. If it's a slow beat or a fast beat, I'm just hitting the tempo like ta, 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 ta. So let's see. Boom, 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 boom. So it's right now on 89. I'm just going to set it to 90 just to make a round number. Now let's see. So if I press play, there's no sound because I deleted all the patterns. Now there's a couple of ways you can do drum programming. Right now on the screen, I'm going to... So that's a good drum beat. You can just tap on the screen. You can also go on the grid and tap at the very edge, and you can hear the drum sound. Of course, you can tap, you can touch the squares here, but I really do like tapping the square. If I don't know what the sound is, I just tap on it, and it gives me a clearer idea. Okay, what's the sound I'm feeling in? So technically, if I wouldn't make a drum, I could just like tap on the screen like a maniac, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, and let's see what that did. Okay, that was not bad. So I'll cut it down to 2 bars so I can hear. Okay, I like the first part of it, so I'm just gonna drag it in here. I overwrite that. So let's hear this, and I'm gonna tap on the 3 dots there to make it 1 bar, just to hear. So just like that, I'm already beating up a groove. So that's one way if you absolutely don't know how to program drums. Now, let's try the same thing, but a bit more delicate. So I'm going to duplicate instrument. So if you press and hold on the square, and you can see a lot of options displayed there. In this case, I'm going to duplicate the instrument, but I'm also going to delete the pattern. Now, if you swipe down, it mutes the first one. So if I play, there's nothing playing right now. So a lot of times, if I have a pattern, I play it like boom, boom, ke, boom, ke, ke. The key thing is you just want to keep in tap of the metronome. At least as a beginner, if you're not used to playing drums, the metronome is a really good indicator. So da, da, boom, 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 boom. So yeah, as you see, I could skip one, I could add one. So I could be like 1, 2. I could just 1, 2. Now no drum will be complete without a snare. That's it. Boom, ke, ke, pa, pa. Okay, so we've got a step pattern going on here. Let's try to add some dynamics. So I just added random patterns into the hi-hat with my fingers. So usually once I've made the drum beats, I'm trying to fill up the space of the drum, which I just do by adding some other elements there. So just to make sure, I'm just using the default setting. I haven't done anything fancy. But now if I was a drummer, I could have played the exact same thing and pressed the record button. So I'm gonna record in some other sounds if I find it. Alright, so I like that. So let's record. And there, it just stays. Alright, so let's use the same style to be able to make another kind of drum. I'm going to duplicate this instrument again, and you know what? Just to make things a bit different, I'm going to find a different drum kit. Let's go old school with like the old 808 styles. Again, these loops are free, so you can download them for free on GrooveBox. So I'm going to find a kit I like. Alright, so this sounds good. Vintage vibes. And this is alright, so let's go back here. So back to the important element here. We have our metronome on to keep us in tempo. Again, if you're good at playing in tempo, or if you know the beat you want to make, you don't need it. I personally, I have terrible coordination, so I make use of the metronome. But let's get started. So we made a new instance here. That's it. So I'm just going to fill up the melody I want to play. Let's see. So just like that, I've already started. So I press the record if I have an idea and I want it to stay. But if I still want to experiment, I unpress it. In other words, I make sure that it's not pressed. And I'm able to build off all my ideas now. Alright, I like that. And I stop recording. If my GrooveBox looks a bit different, that's because I currently have the full unlock. The full unlock does allow you to customize each and every one of these sounds. So for example, I can change this to be a little bit shorter and stuff. But for the purpose of this drum programming, you don't really need it. And I'll show you another way where you can tweak your drum so you can get the same effect. Okay, so right now I've run out of sounds to build a phone. Here's another way I tend to do. I go back into drum. I find a sound I like. Yeah, sometimes I use filter kill because it's a bunch of random instruments. I just get a sound from a different drum kit that I like. Okay, so if you have a sound that you don't really like, there are ways to edit the sound. If you have the free version, you do have access to the length, the filter, the pitch. So with the length, you can choose how long you want the melody to be. Which, yeah, that's it. There's a menu here called swing. Now swing does affect everything, so do keep that in mind. But if you add a little bit of swing, now let's say the difference between. Now with that, it's right on point. Swing just adds a little bit of a delay to give it some sort of like a human element. So if I add a little bit of swing, if I add too much, you can see it's like way too delayed. But I just want a little bit of swing, just to give it that delay like of a drum, so it's not exactly perfect. Because if you think about it, the time it takes for you to raise your hands and hit the drum, there's a bit of a delay there, as opposed to it's not always robotic like boom, bam, boom, bam, boom, bam. Alright, last step. So in a lot of drums, they actually make use of 808. So in a lot of songs, the 808 bass you hear is just a melodic element. All it is just a lower bass. So yeah, you can add more dynamics on a drum with some melodies. So let's try that. Alright, now if I want to shorten it, let's shorten just a 2-bar. Because I like that transitional effect. Of course, you can tap on the volume to adjust the overall mix. So let's say you're okay with this drum and you want to export it. Now there's a couple of things you can do. You tap on the arrow on the top right, so this arrow over here, and you've got a few options here. If you use Ableton, and this is another reason why I love this app, you can send stuff to Ableton. If you want to send each of the elements into their own separate file, you can send it as a project file, which is what I do a lot of times when I make separate loops. In the case where I'm making all of these drum elements all at once, I use a section mix and I export it. Now, quick tip, make sure you turn off the metronome when you're exporting a section mix, because what section mix does is that it records everything. It takes a recording of whatever you get, so metronome and all. So if you do like the metronome in your sound, you just have to leave it on and it will be playing the metronome. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to save it to my files. Ordinarily I save it to my audio share. I'm just going to put it into my GarageBand folder, my GarageBand file transfer folder. So that's how you send a section mix. Now if I want to send each of the elements, I'm going to go to project files. I'm going to select a wave. I find wave is more universal, so I tend to go with wave. We're going to save again to files, and I'll save it into the GarageBand folder one more time. First things first, I go to my files, recent files, so melodic fluid. With iOS 13, I can open up files. So if you're using iOS 12, get documents. Both files will open up. They'll open up zip files. Documents is a free app, and I also make use of documents for a lot of my workflow as well. Now, if we play this audio files that we just extracted, this was just boom, 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 boom. Now, imagine if I put this into blocks wave. If I wanted a heartbeat sound. I could actually recycle this loop. You can hear the boom boom. It gives that sense, but I wouldn't really know that it was from this project. So this was our drum loop here. Okay, so we've got the files here.